Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade with a final look at the TCG Player pre-release sales of Unfinity collector boxes. You know, we looked at this a week ago at R-7, and you can definitely see a huge increase in sales. I mean, the sustained rate of sales in the final week before release really helped bring up these numbers. When we last looked a week ago, it had only sold a cumulative 234 boxes, and here, including release day, was 660 cumulative. Now, it had to drop the price and keep dropping it to do that, and that's the unfortunate part. You know, today you can go out on TCG Player, you can find these boxes at $202 each delivered, which after you pay your fees, you pay real shipping to get into a customer's hands. A small card store is going to net about $172 off of that against the wholesale cost of $188. So at today's prices on the open market, most card stores are going to be losing money selling this product, which is just a theme we've been talking about for, it feels like, 6 months now. Maybe it's only been 4 or 5, but you know, I think we're going to be seeing that even going forward. We're going to keep seeing that for a while. I think this capitulation on day one of Unfinity's release is a very bad sign, but I don't think there's any way around this with how much product WotC is pushing out into the market. And ultimately, I think we're going to see a wave of card stores going out of business sometime 2, 3, 4 months down the line after it gets really dire. And WotC is not slowing down. You know, they're a huge company with long lead times. They cannot pivot fast enough to slow this down unless they simply want to hold the product back and not release it into the distribution network. So let's compare this to something. Baldur's Gate. Yep, Baldur's Gate collector boxes outsold Unfinity collector boxes and did so at a higher price. So if you needed a sign of how bad Unfinity's reception was, you know, it's a combination of unsets just not being nearly as popular. Even though WotC is making tournament legal cards in it, unsets still just are not popular enough. And it's a bad time for the macro economy. It's a bad time for the TCG market. And this is the proof. So it did badly, and it's not surprising, but it is what it is. I think these prices are not going to pick up anytime soon. I think you have a long time to pick up Unfinity at these kind of prices. Maybe it'll melt down a little more. I'm always hesitant to try to make predictions like that because I can't see the future any more than anyone else can. But I do not think the prices are going to pick up because likely there is product of this held back. I mean, we expect that typically WotC will release a wave of a new expansion into the distribution system, and then sometimes 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks later, they release the second wave. And so there's probably more of this coming at some point. And I just don't see any real opportunity for this to gain its footing underneath it and get the price to go up meaningfully in the next several months. So I think we're going to have to work through a lot of funk in the wider economy. We're going to have to work through it in the TCG market because the entire market is flooded in product right now. And eventually, once we come through that, once print runs are slashed, once the demand, cumulative demand over time, actually catches up with the supply of product that WotC and LSS and Pokemon USA and all the rest are putting out, then we'll start to see consolidation, we'll see a solid bottom form, and we'll start to see prices finally turn upwards on a lot of these things. So I think it's a good time to be buying, and you should definitely not skip this set, but you don't feel necessarily a need to rush out and buy it today, even though the prices are low to start with. I think we've got a lot of time. So let me know what you think, agree or disagree. And otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade and consider joining the Patreon. Thanks a lot.